Hi, I'm Mary, a librarian and book reviewer with a focus on stories written for kids, tweens, and teens. Today I get to share with you this book called The Flying Hockey Stick, written by Jolly Roger Bradfield. This is the story of Barnaby, who is very tenacious, and he is determined to build a contraption that will fly. He tries and tries and tries, and many of his tries are not successful. But because he tries just enough, he finally finds a way that works. And he has an extension cord to make it all run. Luckily, he runs around his neighborhood, finds lots and lots of extension cables, and he thinks he might have enough to go around the whole world. So he sets out on his adventure with a lunch packed by his mom, and along the way, he discovers some folks who need a little bit of help. And luckily, he's in the right place at the right time, and they join him on his magical flying contraption. But they find out that their cord doesn't necessarily reach all around the world and they have to turn around. But along the way, they've made some friends and some promises that they'll keep and their friendships that will grow forevermore. This fun story imagines what could be, especially with somebody who is creative and imaginative as far as their building styles. So, on the one hand, you see a lot of Barnaby's tenacity and perseverance, especially when he fails so many times before he's finally successful. And then you see some of the creativity that comes when he discovers folks that need a little bit of assistance and he willingly helps them. As each one comes aboard, they have different ways of thanking him for his help, and while it's not super clear at the end whether his story is real or imagined, you have some evidence that might point to the reality of it. So the book itself is written for an audience that has a little bit more attention span, so probably kindergarten, first grade, maybe advanced preschoolers, just because the narrative is fairly long. There's a lot of balance to the story. So as you're going through, you have some repetition and pattern that kids will recognize as they go through. So that helps with those narrative skills that young kids are building. There's not a huge amount of variation in the complexion of the characters in this book, but there is some as far as the age. So you have some intergenerational connections, and then you have some childlike imagery in the illustration. So that appeals to kids on that level because it has some accessibility for them, some recognizability in the design of the story. So as you're going through the book, you see Barnaby in several different situations. He encounters lots of creatures and places on his travels, and so there's opportunity not only to enjoy the book on its own, but also to discuss what happens in the book, and then also maybe to create some extension activities as a result. If this sounds like a great fit for you or for someone you know, I hope you look for it wherever you get your books.